Hey family, where am I supposed to look? I think here. I just wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up on the scorpion and say a little bit more about him. He's well, he's all the creatures are sacred, and in their defense, the animals, as a general rule, animals, insects, reptiles, snakes, all these things that people are like afraid of, like, it's just, I don't know. I get it, but I just want to put it in perspective here that I don't really know of too many animals or insects, or I'm sure there's a few exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, they don't bother you. They're not trying to get you. It's crazy. They're not violent. They're not gonna inflict an act of violence just for the sake of inflicting it. They're not gonna be like, well, I got a stinger, so I can let me sting somebody with it, or I have a venomous bite, let me bite somebody. That's not how they operate. In all actuality, all the creatures who have venom typically want to reserve their stores of venom to deliver just the right amount. Like, not too much, because their venom is precious for them. It's their line of defense. So, if you get bitten by a snake, of course, depending on which snake it is, or stung by a scorpion in this case, it's not going to be like life-threatening. It's just, well, anyway, they're messengers. They're messengers. So if you get bit by a scorpion, let that be a message. If you get stung by a jellyfish, let that be a message. It's nature trying to communicate with us. And if it's in a strong way, then that's when we really should pay attention, no? Because, that's first it's the whisper, and then here comes a little louder voice, and then here comes a slap upside the head, and here comes a 2x4, and then here comes the Mack truck. It's like nature mirroring and reflecting to us. And in this case, with the scorpions, well, just be conscientious that you live with scorpions and check out wherever you step. Don't, if you open up your bed covers, you might just want to check in there and make sure nobody's trying to camp out and hide in there. And, they're just looking for a place. That's really usually all it is. They're just looking for a place to hide and be safe. But of course, if you roll over on top of them and they feel threatened, then yeah, they might sting you. But I know somebody. I know somebody, and he's the type of guy that he doesn't live by natural law. Let me just say that. He's really rather a violent psychopath. But he explained to me that how he got stung by a scorpion, how the scorpion was on the ceiling or the wall or something, and when he went to sleep, then the scorpion snuck down in the bed and stung him. Well, good for the scorpion. So anyway, I just wanted to say what a noble and sacred creature that the scorpion is, and share with you a little experience on my birthday, 11/11, a couple years ago, I think. Golly, I sure don't even remember now. Could have been last year, year before, I really don't know. Time keeps on slipping. But I was invited into a Temescal, and I had been going to this Temescal, but I just couldn't do it anymore because they were inviting these same people who stole my life savings and violently trespassed and threatened me and just made my life a living hell and took me to court to steal even more money and this kind of stuff. And I told, well, I didn't tell anybody anything. I just quit going. And they were like, well, Daddy, how come you haven't been to the Temescal? Well, I told them why. Because I have a hard time sitting in a sacred altar with people who say these words, aho mitakiase, for all my relations. Like you're going into the Temescal to clean and heal and work on your relations that you have with everything, with the water, with the earth, with all the elements, all the nature, and the people, right? So I just couldn't, I can't do it anymore. As long as you're going to continue to invite these violent psychopaths inside, I don't want nothing to do with it. Really, honestly. I'll find another Temescal. Oh no, she said, you should come. So she invited me, and she said specifically, she said, don't worry about it. They won't be there. George and Maria are the violent psychopaths that I'm referring to, but it's a writ large kind of situation. I'm going to cover that in a separate video. I'm going to call it the Cult of Shibuya. So she invited me to the Temescal, and she said, don't worry, they won't be there. And so I was like, all right. And sure enough, guess who showed up? In the Temescal on my birthday, 11/11. You know, if you're born around that time frame there, I forget the exact cutoff dates, somewhere towards the end of October and like the middle to the third week of November is, the Scorpion, if that's your birth, the astrological sign of your birth month. When you know it, occasionally, I had been going to Temescal for almost 3 years, and I had probably seen only 3 or 4 times where Marciano had to get a scorpion out of the inside of the Temescal before, the guest freaked out. And on this day, when you know it, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Is that magic number 4? 4 scorpions showed up. So the first one showed up, and guess where he was making a beeline, like right over the top of Maria's head, like kind of making his way in that direction, waiting for the door to close and everything to be quiet so he could just do his thing. I don't know, I suppose. Anyway, so Marciano's like, oh, hurry. He gets the scorpion out, and then he takes it outside, and he comes back in the Temescal, and everybody's waiting, and he sits down and get ready to go again, and somebody says, oh, look, another scorpion. And this happened, like I said, again and again, 4 times in total. And I just looked at Marciano and I said, let the scorpion bring the message, and stop trying to rescue those who need to receive the message. And the scorpion is a noble creature. He's not going to just, let me see who I can sting because I'm just an asshole. Like, no, you're confusing the scorpion with the human. Honestly, it's the human who initiates violence for no reason, except for the reason of violence. It's the human who's psychotic and violent, not the insects or the reptiles or the spiders or the animals. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and also to let you know that it's not, like, if you think it might be a scorpion, which I kind of did, I kind of was like, it wasn't a moth. Usually it's a moth flying around, some little fairy moth, and bouncing all over and getting on my nerves, especially if I'm trying to read. They're coming to the light and getting all over my book. It wasn't a moth, I knew that, and it didn't feel like a spider either. I knew what it was, but then again, I didn't stop to think about, well, what if it is the scorpion? I was like, there's no way he could have went from the bathroom all the way and followed me in and got into my bed, and I wouldn't have seen him, or like how did he even do that fast? I was like, nah, it couldn't be. But it was a scorpion. And the way I got him off of my stomach, like I said, I don't recommend that. If you do encounter a scorpion, the best way, the most non-violent and peaceful way you can do it is just put your hand down in front of him like this and let him crawl up here, right? You let the scorpion crawl up and he'll just crawl up there, and then you just take him out, put him somewhere, and then that way you're not like being violent towards him or anything like that. Oh, beautiful creatures. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, a little bit more about the scorpion. And I did another video a couple of years ago called The Scorpion and the Rose. It wasn't me talking like I do normally. It was just a complete video of the subject matter. And anyway, the nature is it's a nature. It's perfect. And it's in divine order. It's only the humans that are out of sync, family. So please think about that the next time you see, a dangerous. Just say, hey, well, maybe it's his jungle and I walked in. How about this? Before you go on a nature hike or somewhere where you think there might be snakes or bobcats or mountain lions or bears or fill in the blank, just say, before you go into their space, just say, hey, all the creatures of the forest, those who are quote-unquote dangerous or not, I ask your permission to come through your forest, and I will tread as lightly as possible and with the utmost respect and honor for those spirits who belong here, that they, how do I say belong here? They are, they're endemic, they're indigenous, it's their forest, and we are the pasajeros, we are the passers through. So it's their forest, we are the guest, and so we act with honor, like present yourself and to all the spirits in that forest, seen and unseen, and ask for permission, and you'll be surprised how they respond and work with you. There's so much, well, at the moment, it's getting better every day, I know, but as a general rule, animals and insects and reptiles and all of it, it's all of the nature. They're more in tune, right, than the average human. Like, they're not cut off from it. They're not. I've always loved the nature, even the scary, dangerous. Everybody has a purpose. And except for the purse dogs, I'm not really sure if they have a purpose. I'm sure they do. I'm sorry. See if you've got a purse dog. No. All right, family, that's it. That's my rant. Rest of my rant. for now on the scorpion. Give it a try. Let go of your preconceived ideas and notions about, because this animal has a mouth with sharp teeth, or because this snake has venom, or because fill in the blank, whatever. People, what, spiders, I don't know what you're supposed to be afraid of, I guess. Spiders, snakes, what else? Scorpions. I don't know, fill in the blank. It's reality, they're the ones that are afraid of you. And me, like, because we're so much bigger and so much more violent. So, yeah, just try it. Take my word for it. Next time you go on a nature hike, if you're freaked out about snakes and spiders and whatever, just try it. Just try it. What do you got to lose? Ask the spirits of the forest for permission to tread in their space and conduct yourself as an honorable guest while you're in their house. And, you know, don't treat them any different than you would, say, treat another human being. It's the same concept. You just apply it, you know. Whether it's an insect or a reptile or an animal or a human or a place, even a sacred place, especially a sacred place. Especially a sacred place. Always with reverence and presenting ourselves with honor and you know, just unconditional love and holistic intelligence. And yeah, try it, family. See how it goes. Let me know if you had any first-hand experiences in this. Post it in the comments so everybody else can see. Yeah. I will. Yeah, I think I did one on a tarantula too. And when I first got to Mexico, oh my gosh! If you haven't seen, I think I did a video. Just the most gracious, intelligent, sensitive, extremely sensitive, and just really, honestly, I want to say the tarantula is like the most graceful creature I've ever encountered. And so it bothers me when I see people stepping on spiders and cutting the heads off of snakes, and I don't know. Just try it, family. What do you got to lose? You know, nature, natura, this comes from a word, and I believe it was Egypt. Yes, I just don't know if it was pre-dynastic Egypt or later. But they had all these gods and goddesses of everything. The goddess of fertility, the god of the sun, the goddess of the corn, the god of the river, the god of the I mean, it was not a monotheistic perception of, you know, it was many gods and goddesses. But they had one supreme intelligence, the designer of all of the creation, including all the other gods and goddesses, all the other demigods, right, were created by the one prime source, God, whatever you want to call that, intelligent design, creator, great spirit. It doesn't matter. The point is they had one God, and that God they referred to with the name Natr, Natur. We didn't have a lot of vowels back then. Natur, N-A-T-R. That's where we get the word from nature from, in natura. Or naturaleza, the natural, right? The God, the Great Spirit, the holistic intelligence and unconditional love, the 0 point, I don't know how many names you want to give it. So next time you're out in nature, remember that. It's like going to church. It really is. If you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Hope this has been a blessing. If it has, it's my honor to share it. You know, another good reason to realize these kinds of things is because we are part of nature as well. Although, and albeit rather disconnected. But, you know, if you want to get in touch with your higher self, go spend some time in nature. Put the damn phone down. Turn it off. Separate yourself from the artificial world of 24/7 news and all things unnatural. Yeah, it's best. You don't need to call anybody. You don't need to call mom, dad, my friend, whatever. Go into nature and sit alone. Spend some time and wait and see who shows up. Have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And the willingness to perceive things through the eyes of a child. Or the eyes of a puppy dog. Anyhow, I gotta go. Here comes both of the dogs. And they're gonna be jumping up on here in a minute. It's Tekka and her wild child. Okay. Alright, family. See you in the dream world. Ciao for now.